As you already know from watching my videos, the more tools that you have in your stress management toolbox, the better off you are. The better your chances of effectively addressing stress, managing stress in such ways that stress doesn't manage you. You know that stress is part of life and it's inevitable. And not all stress is bad, but for the purpose of these videos, we're mostly talking about the bad stress, the stress we don't really want. And since it's part of life and it's inevitable, and chances are you can't get rid of all of the stress in your life, you have to learn how to deal with it in such a way that you minimize its effects on you. In today's video, I would like to introduce you to the idea of imagery, specifically guided imagery. Many research studies have shown us that when we close our eyes and imagine something, or even when we are engaged with looking at a screen, watching something intently, paying attention to that, it can become rather difficult for our brain to distinguish what our reality is versus what our imagination is giving to us as the story of reality. Think about being in a theater and maybe watching a scary movie. Next thing you know, you jump in your seat because you get frightened by whatever happened on the screen. Well, you're so engrossed in the story and what's happening that it can almost feel like you're there, and you jump as a reflex of trying to get away from the danger that's on the screen. So it's not difficult to understand why our brains can get confused, for lack of a better word, distinguishing between the real reality and things that we imagine. Another good example of this is if you've ever either done this yourself or maybe you've witnessed this in someone else, you try to project what will happen in the future. Maybe you're worried about something, and before you know it, you work yourself up to such a degree that your heart is racing, maybe you're sweating, maybe your blood pressure's up, maybe you become angry, or maybe you start crying, and nothing's happened yet. It's all in your mind. You told yourself a story of something, and you are reacting as a result. So again, it's not the real tangible reality that you're reacting to, but something that you imagine, a story that you're telling yourself or that somebody else is telling you. So why not use the power of the imagination to your benefit? And that's where imagery comes in handy. And this is something where you can take advantage of guided imagery. This is especially helpful when you're just getting started and you're not sure how to get going. Or if your imagination is pretty good and you're pretty well self-disciplined in terms of where you want to take your imagery and do it well in a way that benefits you, you can do it all on your own without anybody guiding you. But the idea is this: to pick a quiet, comfortable, safe space for yourself. Take some deep breaths to begin the relaxation process, relaxing your body and your mind. And then start listening. For the sake of an example, let's do guided imagery. Start listening. Maybe there are some background sounds, maybe nature sounds, maybe some soft music, whatever it is that that particular experience has for you. And then a person with hopefully a pleasant and soothing voice would guide you on a journey of imagining a place or an experience, something that allows you to relax, something that allows you to de-stress, if you will. And the idea of having someone guide you, as I already said, is to help you, especially when you're just getting started and maybe you're not experienced or not so good yet about doing this on your own. And you can continue with guided imagery. You don't have to switch to doing it all on your own, but you can. The idea is, though, that over time, as you engage in this exercise where you practice guided imagery, you're able to take your mind and your body into an imagined place, whatever that place is, it's up to you, that makes you feel safe, peaceful, calm, and relaxed. And if you do this on a regular basis, it's just like any skill. You get better at it the more you practice. So you may be able to do this on your own without someone else guiding you with verbal cues. And you may be able to get to that place of bliss and peace and joy and happiness without too much time going by. So you may get there quicker. And after all, the idea here is to help you to manage stress and help you to manage the effects that stress has on you, on your physical body, on your psychology, on your emotional state. So again, guided imagery is something that I highly recommend that you try. And if you don't need an external guide, another person guiding you, maybe you can take over the wheel, if you will, or you can even try on your own. But I recommend when you're just getting started, it may be a good idea to have a little bit help and have guided imagery. Now you may wonder, well, where do I go? What do I do with that? There are videos that you can search on YouTube. There are apps that you can get for your phone. Sometimes yoga teachers, when they have a yoga class, they may end that class with a little bit of guided imagery to help you relax at the very end. Sometimes a meditation class or a meditation app that you may be using may have some guided imagery as a feature, as an option. And again, as I already mentioned, you may check out some videos on YouTube. There are plenty of guided imagery options there. Now remember that this is something that you may have to practice to get better at. Very few people are good at things the first time they try them. And also the other thing to remember is that you may have to try different guides before you find the right one. Maybe it's the voice, maybe it's the imagery that they're promoting or that they're taking you on a specific journey that's not clicking with you. Do not despair and do not give up on guided imagery after trying one or two things, but rather give it a real try. Give it the opportunity for yourself to find one that works, because believe me, our imagination is so powerful. It is so powerful. And it seems like we are not tapping into that power. We're letting our imagination run amok to stress us out or to scare us, but we're not doing the opposite end of the spectrum, where we can use the imagination to help us to relax and to find peace and the feeling of safety and feeling calm and unbothered by stress, or the ability to de-stress after a stressful situation. Again, the more tools that you have in your proverbial toolbox for stress management, the better off you are, because the more tools you have, the more opportunities you have and the more options you have of what to take out of that toolbox that may be helpful to you at the right time, at the right moment when you need it the most. So I really encourage you to look at guided imagery, visualization as a tool to help you better manage the stress in your life and how the stress in your life affects you. Remember, it is your responsibility to take care of yourself. It's It's not anybody else's responsibility. Nobody else will do it for you, nor is it their job to do it for you. So if you want to be as healthy and as resilient as you possibly can be so that you can live in these chaotic times in this fast-paced life that we have, then you owe it to yourself to make sure your toolbox, your stress management toolbox, is filled with a variety of tools and high quality tools. So check that out. I highly encourage you to check out guided visualization as an option. If you'd like to learn more about a comprehensive approach to stress management, check out the link below.